All right, are
Yes.
we ready? All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the School District of Brown Deer joint meeting with the Village of Brown Deer. I call this meeting to order at 5:03 p.m. Verification of public notice. The meeting was publicly noticed. Welcome and introductions. I'm Dr. Todd Beadle, and I'm the proud school board president for the District of Brown Deer. President Montgomery.
President Montgomery, Village of Brown Deer. Do we want to go?
What are we doing?
Just go. Yep. Just let's go. Since we're hosting district employees or board members first, and then we'll go to village. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Tanaka Glass, School District of Brown Deer, Director of Teaching and Learning.
Good afternoon, Dr. Kelsey Brown, Superintendent, School District of Brown Deer.
Good afternoon, Anita Peterson, Brown Deer School District's Treasurer.
Hi, I'm Dorothea Robinson. I am the Brown Deer School Board Vice President.
And Kevin Klemek, the Director of Business Services for the school district.
All right, Village of Brown Deer.
Okay, go ahead, Wanda.
Well, I already introduced myself, so maybe Trustee Owens.
Okay, Amos Owens, Trustee of Village of Brown Deer.
And then Tyler Burkhart, Village Manager, Brown Deer. I think that's it.
Yeah,
All right.
that's it.
All right, let's go on to our item number 2. Let's go on to our approval of any. Do we have any public comments? And I don't think so. I don't think we have anybody from the public that's here right now. Can we have an approval of the minutes from the December 21st meeting? Has everyone gotten the opportunity to review those minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I move approval of the December 21st, 2022 minutes.
All right. A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I will second Dr. Beadle.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Peterson. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All in favor will raise hand and or aye. Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries unanimously for the approval of the December 21st minutes. All right, now let's go on to item number 4, the School District of Brown Deer. Update on our new classes for Brown Deer High School for the 2023-2024 school year. Well, I'm proud to announce that in an effort to improve our academic rigor and also as well as work with our students to achieve more high academic standards. What we've been able to do is we have 11 new classes that have been approved by the board for the upcoming school year. And I was going to let Dr. Glass and Dr. Kelsey Brown discuss a little bit more in depth what those 11 new classes mean for the academics for the high school.
All right, I will start out and then turn it over to Dr. Glass, just to give you an idea of the 11 classes Dr. Beadle is referring to really quickly. Fundamentals of computer science, physical science, AP pre-calc, AP psychology, driver's education, earth science, pre-AP English 9, pre-AP English 10, program certifications for computers. We will have a class entitled Soul and R&B Choir. We are offering a class and the last one is a class for lifeguard certification. And so we are looking at making sure that while rigor was already in our courses, we are continuing to move along and increasing the level of rigor we're adding to our courses in conjunction with how, for example, Springboard is moving as it relates to high school courses. In addition, as we know, it's a new climate in education, if you will, and we would love for as many of our students as possible to be able to engage in dual enrollment courses where they would receive college credit while taking the course right at school. And then also certification. So as we all know, it was just on the news last night, in fact, Pools are challenged with finding lifeguards to open up pools already this summer. And we know that was an issue last summer. So we're hoping that we can serve as the impetus to add to the lifeguard certification so that one, our students have a certification, and this is just an example among many. One, our students have a certification, and two, that they can be, it's a lifelong skill, number two, and number three, they can be gainfully employed, whether in a school system that might need lifeguards or at a pool area at a park in the summertime. So that is a brief synopsis. Dr. Glass, I don't know if you would like to add anything, please feel free to chime in.
Just to reiterate our dedication to making sure that our students have college readiness skills. You'll notice that they are pre-AP courses, and that will give them a chance to develop the academic stamina necessary to actually earn their college credit for AP classes. And we have aligned all of those pre-AP classes, as Dr. Brown has stated, with the Springboard curriculum to ensure that they have, like I said, the appropriate readiness for those classes.
All right. Thank you very much for the update in relationship to the new classes. Now, any questions?
Yes. As it relates to your driver's education, is it just classroom and then students have to go and get the behind the wheel? Or is it both?
Our goal is both.
Okay.
And so we will be contracting out with a driver's ed company. It could, for example, be Arcade. I'm not sure how far in the process Ms. Brown is in that space, but the idea is to contract with an organization or a company who could come in and provide those services for our students. And then our students would, we're looking for some grants for our students to be able to pay for the course. And then we'll take it from there. And so we know we have many students driving without licenses these days. And so we're hopeful that in our school district, we will also again serve as the impetus to alleviate or eliminate this notion that driving without a license is okay, because we know it's not. There are rules of the road that we all need to follow. And those are, that's classroom lessons that need to be learned so that they can apply them in accordance with the rules of the road.
When you get those costs, I'm assuming there's additional costs in the classroom as well as the behind the wheel. Because one of the things that the Brown Deer Foundation did with our car show this past year, our goal was to provide scholarships for students to do driver's education. And so if we had a figure, if we're planning it again this year, we'd have a better idea of how many students we might be able to sponsor. So just think about that.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. And then the other one that that's really worth mentioning is us being able to do the lifeguard training and being able to do that, because we know we're going to need those lifeguards for our village pond. And being able to do that as well, and then any other pools or whatever have you across the county of Milwaukee, being able to do that or whatever have you. So again, another excellent addition that not only is a classroom but also helps these students potentially be able to find some employment and receive that certification as well too. All right. Let's go. Was there anyone else had any questions in relationship to those 11 new exciting courses that we're going to be offering at the high school? All right, let's go on next to our extracurricular. Now, this right here is wonderful news for us when we start to talk about Brown Deer athletics and extracurricular activities. I don't know, is Mr. McGregory on?
He said he was going to get on, Dr. Vito. I do not see him, but let me text him and see. He might be challenged with the link as well. So let me text him and find out.
All right. All right. Well, a couple good things from the things that I know and I realize in relationship to this is this is our first year having a bowling team for Brown Deer School. Do you know we have made state? All right. In 1 year, our students have made it to where they're going upstate for bowling. Now, again, that's not one of those traditional sports that we generally would have to where our students are being involved and whatever. But we always thought that it was paramount for us to be able to expose our students to different and exciting different sports or other opportunities. So now with this bowling being able to do this and our kids going up to state in the first year that they're doing this, man, that is an achievement. And I applaud those young people and being able to do that, and the instructors that are helping out and being able to do that, because as we know, you've got all these colleges and universities, and there are scholarship opportunities out there for young people to be on a bowling team at the collegiate level, to be able to do that. So that is a wonderful opportunity. We wish our students the best of luck going upstate and being able to do that. Dr. Kelsey Brown, did he jump on yet?
No,
If not,
no.
if not, okay. If not, the other one is our wrestling team. We've got individuals going upstate in relationship to our wrestling team, which is another, when you start to think about for Brown Deer, we've always had that, we've always had to collaborate with another school in order to be able to do it. But this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for our students in the wrestling program and going upstate in order to be able to do that as well too. So when you start thinking about, generally when people think about them athletic, they think about football, basketball, volleyball, tennis, track. They very seldom would even think about bowling or wrestling or whatever have you. But these are also sports that that our teams are actually excelling in and actually going to the highest level to go into state competition. Again, of course, our basketball teams, our men's and women's basketball teams, volleyball. We've got a number of all of our sports are going on right now. Students are doing well in relationship to participating and excelling in those, as well as our students that are in our middle school. Our basketball for boys and girls, volleyball, and being able to do that and stuff. So just being able to offer all of those different sports opportunities for our students and them excelling and being able to do it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful achievement for the district. I don't know, Dr. Kelsey Brown, would you like to add anything to that?
No, you summed it up very well. They are, Ms. Brown and Mr. McGregory, they're challenged with the link. So no, great job. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Our next area is the update on the audit. Mr. Clemick's on the line.
Yes.
All right. So again, with our audit, we had a relatively nice and clean audit that just happened. And we are very excited about that. We're in a very good position from a cash flow standpoint, and from an auditing standpoint, we are where we need to be at. The areas in which that we would show a deficiency are the areas that we've always done, because we are a smaller school district and we don't have all of those staff in place in certain areas to be able to do that. But Mr. Clemick can go into a little bit more detail if need be. Mr. Clemick.
Yeah, as Dr. Beal mentioned, we did have a good financial year. We added to our operational fund balance. We prepaid debt, a significant amount of debt last year, $1 million. And so, and operationally, everything went fairly well. And we're as you mentioned, we're in a pretty good shape. We are starting to do the same thing this year. We also, with our tax levy, did plan to prepay another $1 million of debt coming up this year, hopefully in the next few months, and getting ready to plan for the following school year. But yeah, it was a good financial year for the district overall.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Clemick?
Yeah, I did. Who's your audit firm?
Riley Penner.
Riley Penner. Okay. And would it be possible to share a copy of that audit report?
Yeah, I have electronic versions that I could share.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Dr. Vito, if you're interested in backtracking, Gerald is on. He was able to get on if you're interested.
Yeah, Mr. McGregory. I mean, this is the individual that's over it. So, Mr. McGregory, do you have anything to add in relationship to our extracurricular activities to share with the village?
To me, I would just say I'm super excited about the progress we have made with our wrestling program. We had brought it back a few years ago, and we had focused in on a youth program that has really helped build what we have currently at the high school level. Got 2 kids slated to go to sectionals this coming Saturday with a very good chance of them both making it to state. They both were champions in the Woodland Conference wrestling tournament. First time in 13 years we have had that. Winding up winter basketball. Had a young lady last night score her 1,000th career point, and she's only a sophomore. So I think she has a very good chance of being the all-time male or female leading scorer for Brown Deer. So super excited for this young lady. She's so humble. You wouldn't even know she was that good of a basketball player, because outside of the court, she's very low key. Very sweet person, a very good student as well. Let me think. Our boys swim will be competing in state this coming Saturday as well. They had a tremendous season. Our boys have performed at a very high level in terms of personal's best. So very proud of that. And I think what makes swimming even more unique is we have an alumni who's our coach, Amanda Hoppy, I believe, graduated in 2019. And she's our coach, and she's in the teaching field. So she's working towards graduating. So hopefully she'll be a Falcon for life in more than one way than another. And I think overall, we're going in the right direction in terms of trying to lay the foundation so that we can grow. I'm super excited too. I'm working with Danny Gross from the Village. We got a meeting scheduled in a few weeks to talk more in depthly about some potential partnerships that are centered on us growing even more and focusing in on our younger kids, if you will, so we can get them engaged, and hopefully that'll translate into more parental involvement, and we'll just see a huge difference throughout our school district by just taking the approach of Dr. Brown's leading one and create a more robust program. Did y'all hear me? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes, we did.
driving as dad, so sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
Be
Thank you
careful out
very
there, though.
Yep. Thank you very much, Mr. McGregory. Any questions? All right. And our last order of business is 4D for the district. Is the upcoming election. We know the election is April 4th, and we have 2 seats that are up for re-election, and both incumbents, myself and Ms. Robinson, are running again for those 2 seats, and I think we are both running unopposed. So that is the update from the District of Brown Deer.
Dr. Beto, if I might, I believe I saw Ms. Brown as well.
I'm sorry?
I believe I saw Ms. Brown, the high school principal, jump on. I just wanted, if you're okay with it, see if she wanted to add anything to the coursework. Do you all see her?
If she can be brief.
I saw her. Did you see her?
I never saw her.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
But if she can be brief, that's fine.
Well, I don't think anybody sees her anymore. So, okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to item number 5, Village of Brown Deer, items for discussion. The community survey. So I don't know if that's would be Tyler or President Montgomery.
I'm going to let Tyler talk about everything on here. He can present. I can certainly add additional information as necessary, but I'll let Tyler speak.
Sure,
Thank
I'll be
you.
happy to do that, President Montgomery. Before I forget, just a quick question for tomorrow with the weather. Has the schools made any determination on if school's going to be in session or not tomorrow?
Yes,
I
we
think
have.
Brown Deer is closed tomorrow.
Yes, we are
Yes, okay.
closed.
Okay, sorry, that was a quick question. I just wanted to sneak in there. So first item, community survey. We are on schedule to get this out. March 13th has been our date to go live, and we're still on that schedule. There'll be a bunch of just general questions related to the village and the community on there. Related to the schools, I wanted to let you know a common question that other community surveys will have is a question that will ask, what is your general perception of the following categories regarding and then whatever the community is, for us, the Village of Brown Deer. And the categories are sense of community, overall appearance, reputation, affordability, variety of housing options, quality of businesses. There's other categories, but one is typically schools. People will rate their general perception based on a poor, fair, good, or excellent rating. So, and then that same category, one thing that we like that a lot of other community surveys would do is they would ask, what are the top 3 reasons why you moved to Brown Deer? And have community members prioritize that list and identify the top 3 main reasons. And then they would ask, what 3 categories are you most concerned about for Brown Deer with that same group? So I just wanted to give the schools a heads up that that was a proposed question that we have in the community survey that other communities would do that incorporate the schools. And just wanted to see if there was any potential concerns with including that in our community survey.
Can you
Thanks,
repeat the
fair
question?
questions.
Can you repeat the question again, Tyler, for the school, please?
Sure. So with they're the same categories as I read, but the 3 general questions would be: 1, what is your general perception of the following categories regarding the Village of Brown Deer? 2 would be, what were the top 3 reasons why you moved to Brown Deer? And the schools would be one of, that same categories like sense of community, overall appearance, reputation, etc. And then the 3rd would be, what 3 categories are you most concerned about for Brown Deer?
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the goal, the village board will consider these list of questions at the February 20th agenda. If approved, we will do our remaining work to get that live on the 13th. Anything the schools can do to help promote the community survey would be greatly appreciated, whether that's an email that goes out to both students and parents, anything that you have on communication, or if you could put it on your website, would be greatly appreciated. We're going to work on even like a postcard that we'll send out and mail out to all residents to encourage them to take the survey. So we're hoping to get a good response. I've done a community survey before in a similar size when I was in Shorewood. We got 800 people to participate. For me, if we can get at least 500, I think that would be a good, meaningful goal, that we could, get some meaningful data. So anything that the school district can do to help promote the community survey would be greatly appreciated. Courtney, I made sure that Carrie would connect with you. Once the survey is ready to go, that she would give you the indication that it could be promoted in whatever way. So are there any questions or President Montgomery, anything else that you wanted to follow up on that subject?
No, I think that covers it.
Any other questions on the community survey? Okay.
All right. Let's go on to item B, the reminder to find representation on the Special Events Committee and Human Resources Committee.
So
Can I share something, Tyler, before you get started?
Sure.
I did learn that there's students that have been attending the special events meetings. There's just not anybody that's designated. So I don't know how many people are coming, and if it's the same person every month. Director Robinson may know, since she's on the special events committee, or you might know that too.
I actually attended the last one, and it seemed like it was some of the board members on like the student council that were attending. So like Cole Campbell, just because I've interacted with him a few times now, he was one, but it seemed like it was some of the student council members. I think where we're at in the calendar, this has been an ongoing issue for the special events committee since I've been here, which is about a year now. So I want to just talk with the school district and establish maybe a different strategy where we can find a student, preferably at this point, if it's a junior or a sophomore, so they could serve into the following year as well. But I just want to strategize if there's a different strategy we can do to get a student, because this has been kind of an ongoing issue that we haven't been able to get that representation on the committee. So are there any thoughts on the school district's end that we could maybe look at this differently?
And again, have a conversation with Ms. Brown. I think it's important for us to, because we're a smaller district, we tend to ask our students to engage in numerous activities.
Yeah.
And so that's where our challenges lie. If Mr. McGregory is still on the phone, still on the call, and because we're smaller, we encourage our students to become, dual athletes or triple athletes in that they're participating in numerous events. And not to mention that while they're doing that at school, sometimes our kids are playing playing on club teams, they work, they're taking care of siblings. So certainly not to excuse any of it, but know that our students are very, very busy. I will work with Ms. Brown to see if we can get the one student. I know I had a conversation with one student who will commit at the junior level.
Okay.
I know I saw Chigo Uda, I think is her last name, and then I saw Cole Campbell at I believe it was a play last fall, or maybe one of the orchestra events where they were coming from the December meeting, I believe it was,
Correct.
to come to school for another event. So, or to participate in their school event. So I will work with Ms. Brown to see if we can find the one student and see where that takes us. As far as other strategies, I'm not sure what that can look like yet, but we'll see. We'll figure out if there's a student who has a passion in that space and wants to be part of a special events committee. I think I would encourage you to think about two students. Students tend to travel in pairs or in groups. So I would encourage you to at least think about two who might be a friendship group, if you will, and they will be more apt to attend if they knew that their friend was attending as well. So
it's a great point.
I do understand the challenges that have been at the table as far as this piece is concerned. Again, just understanding our students are super busy and being pulled in a myriad of different directions consistently because we're a little smaller. But we'll try. We'll give it our best shot.
And then I just want to use this agenda item as a reminder, the Human Relations Committee, we're taking applications. So we're still waiting on the school district as far as who you would like to pinpoint as your representative. This could be a student, a faculty member, someone on the school board. It could be any one of those individuals. Our goal would be by the next time we meet for joint board, you would have that person identified because the Human Relations Committee, the assignments will be decided by late April, early May. So by this, our next meeting, we would have to have that person not only pinpointed, but also have an application filed with the village so that we could appoint them to the committee.
And this is, remind me, Tyler, this is volunteer, right? Volunteer. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and the Human Relations Committee will be focused on a lot of human relations issues. They'll start meeting probably once a month as they get underway. Eventually, I don't know if they go to quarterly, bi-monthly, it might be something a little different, but we'll definitely need them to meet monthly initially. And all committees, it's up to them if they want to meet in person or virtually. So it just depends on the makeup of the committee if they decide they want to meet virtually or in person. So there could be some flexibility on that.
So Dr. Vito, if I may ask, were you interested in a board member or a representative from the district? I wasn't sure how we wanted to navigate that.
I thought before we were looking at potentially just making sure that we had a student that would have been there, and then maybe either a representative, like one of the administrators or somebody from the school, or potentially one person from the board being potentially trying to get on this committee. What I will do then is I'll bring it up at our next board meeting to see if we do have an individual that would like to sit on that committee to represent the board.
So whether it's board or district, that's our representation. Is that the way you're looking at this, Tyler?
Well,
Or is it one from each? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Well, you can send more than one. We would just need one as a voting member and you to specify who you would want as the voting member. And then anyone else that you would send would be a non-voting ex officio member who would still be active on the committee.
And I would just,
So-
we refrain from a student, you're going to be challenged with getting the consistency in that space.
Right. Well, a question though, since I don't know, Ms. Robinson is already on the committee, could she be the representative for the district?
No, they're talking about the Human Relations Committee. That's different from special events.
Okay, the Human Relations Committee.
This is the
Okay.
one, and Dr. Beadle and Dr. Kelsey Brown, I don't know, do you have a copy of the ordinance that was drafted around, or not the ordinance, but the committee, what the committee entails?
I don't have it in front of me, so President
I mean,
Montgomery,
did
if you
you,
could send it to me
did you
again?
get, I can have Tyler send it.
Okay.
So for the school district, President Montgomery and Dr. Beadle, Dr. Glass will be our representative.
So the way the ordinance is written, I think it was one seat for somebody from the school district, correct, Tyler?
That's correct.
Right. And so as he
Right.
said, there would be, you'd have one voting member. So if it's determined that it's a district representative, it's that person would be voting. The school, and if it's somebody from the board that wants to attend, they would be ex officio. So they wouldn't be voting, they'd just be attending. But
Right.
the way the ordinance was drafted, I believe it's one from the school district. Is it one from the village? Tyler?
When you say one of the, you mean the village board?
Right.
Yes, yeah, we'll have one village board seat, one from the schools, and
Right.
then 5 other community members.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then if we've got Dr. Glass that's going to represent the district, then Dr. Glass could be the representative for the district, for the school district then, as a voting member.
Right.
Yep, and if Dr. Glass is the rep, then Dr. Glass would just need to submit a committee application. So, you know, I'll be happy to send the HRC ordinance, and I'll send also the link to the volunteer committee application that would need to be filled out by, you know, in the next month or so. And if Dr. Kelsey Brown, if you're okay, I'll send that to you. And if you could, Dr. Beadle, I know I have your contact information too, so I'll send it to the 2 of you. And then if you want to forward it to Dr. Glass or anyone else as an ex officio member, feel free to do so.
Okay. Yeah. If you send it to me, Tyler, I'll send it to her.
I
Okay.
just put her email
you,
in the
Dr.
chat too, so you can include her on it as well. That way we'll all have it. How about that?
I just don't have Dr. Glass's email.
I put it in the chat for you.
Oh, you did? Oh, great. Okay, perfect. I'll send it to all of 3 of you then.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on that one? Okay. Seeing none, I can just go to the next item if that's okay then, which is poll location. When I first got here, when we had the April 2022 election, I received feedback from multiple community members that having 2 of the 3 polling locations in a church is not the most welcoming or comfortable environment for them. And I think there was some interest in having the village at least explore some options I brought that concern to Dr. Kelsey Brown a little while ago, and she gave me the idea of exploring the elementary school. So our village staff did a tour of the elementary school late last year. The polling site would work for us for one of the 3 locations. Shalom would be the location that we would switch because that's in the same ward. So it would be the people who vote in that location would stay in the same area, which would be nice. I don't want to do this or propose doing this until we have a good window where we could help educate and finalize logistics. And it's going to work out really well that after this April election, that we won't have any November or fall election. So the next election won't be until 2024. So we would have a really nice window where if everyone was in agreement on this change, the village sometime in the summer would pass a resolution to change the polling location. And then Karen, our village clerk, would work with the school district and the elementary school on the logistics of that polling location moving forward. So I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention to see if there were any specific concerns or questions before we start navigating a more public process to do this. And just so you know, the public process to do this, we won't even do until after the April election because we don't want to confuse people prior to the April election. So, but this is just us very in advance reaching out and seeing if there's anything that the schools would like us to further look into or further discussions before we start those conversations.
The one piece so our board approved our 23-24 instructional calendar just Tuesday. And as I look at April 2024, the second Tuesday in April 2024 would be April 9th. That would be the first, February, right? February, April,
It's
February?
February the 3rd. Well, Tyler, go ahead.
No, yeah, so I mean, we don't know if there'd be a primary or not, but if there was, it would be February
13th.
I think it's, yeah.
It's the 3rd Monday.
It's the 3rd Monday?
Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah,
thought-
Tuesday. Sorry, the 3rd Tuesday. And
So I
then
don't know what that is in 2024, but then it would,
The 3rd Tuesday in February 2024 would be February 20th.
yeah,
so that would be the first election that would take place.
and I can tell you there will be a primary because you got all of those the presidential stuff. And I mean, anyway, I think there will be because that's a lot of 4-year terms, like the county exec and the sheriff won't be because the sheriff might be because she was completing a term. So anyway, there will be some countywide elections.
So just for clarity's sake, Dr. Kelsey Brown, I can have Karen send you the election dates that we are anticipating for 2024 so that you can have that on the calendar. I will, talking with our public works staff, they're the ones that logistically get everything in and out of the space. They assured me that in the space there, they could do everything in a day. So there would only be a day of disruption for the elementary school when there would be voting.
Okay. So our professional learning days are typically on a Friday. And so what I would envision is making our professional learning day on the day of election day, because one of the pieces that I would be interested in the village pursuing is from a safety standpoint. I would be concerned with having the voting in the building while the students and staff are in there, all at the same time. Now, that's of course our board's decision if they would agree to allow us to, make that revision in the schedule. But even with that, I would think about what safety protocols would look like on that day in the elementary school from the village perspective. The challenge with doing it during the day when kids are there, when students are there, is if it's February, well, for February, for example, when it's colder outside and in inclement weather days, we need the gym for our students to, of course, release the energy because they may not be able to go outside for recess.
Mhm.
That's one of the challenges in the colder weather. Now, as we lean in more towards April, we all know we're in Wisconsin, it could be a little touch and go in April. So that's something to consider. But if our community is more willing to have the PL day on the voting day, I think it's something that we could probably manage. But running school and voting with 750 students in a building in February would present some challenges.
Okay.
And just again, from the standpoint of students being able to exert their energy, have recess and the like, but also a safety perspective with the in and outness, if you will, that would occur probably on the east doors off the parking lot for individuals to be able to access the gym. Now, one option to think about, Tyler, and I'm not sure which areas of the elementary school you all visited, and it may not even be big enough, but I will put it out there, is the community room. If the community room could be an option, we could probably stand to do without the community room on that particular day. And then that's an entry point from the north side of the building. And so going in and out in that space would probably be less of a challenge because that's one door in, you're in and out in the same door. Now, what I don't know is how far apart the voting booths have to be for individuals to have their own privacy. And I don't know what those specs look like. But think about that as well. And did you visit the community room?
We did. Our clerk
Okay.
determined it was not large enough
Got it. Okay.
as a space. So it was the gymnasium that was the
Okay.
space that would fit the needs. And because
it.
the location is right on the end with a nice entrance exit point where you aren't walking through the rest of the schools, I know was also determined as a nice avenue. So our plan would be after the election, sometime in late April, early May, Karen and I will reach out to you, Dr. Kelsey Brown, and then any staff that you want in that meeting. So we could further discuss the logistics of that. And then we would just need to know from the school district's perspective before the village were to adopt a resolution formalizing that, what you as a school district or school board, what the school board would need to do in order to make that decision.
Okay. All right, sounds like okay. Well, that'll be something definitely we'll discuss. I guess my question now is what's the difference now when we offered the elementary school last year and the year before? What's the difference now than it was then?
Yeah, I think the difference was the village at that time was pursuing the field house and potentially having the field house as all the polling locations. At least that's what I've heard. Am I correct in that, President Montgomery?
Yes, you are. And Dr. Beto, I think the difference is we have different leadership.
Okay.
And certainly going about it differently than it happened last time. I'll just put it like that.
Thank you very much, President Montgomery. Yeah, because I know that before we offered and everything, and yeah, seems as though that there was an issue and everything and stuff. So now it seems as though that everything is fine. So okay, yeah, that'll definitely be something as we continue to work forward. Tyler working with Monica, and then we'll bring it to the board and we'll see exactly how that works. But again, we're always going to be willing to try to work with the village as much as we possibly can. So
Right, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. And as I mentioned, while Shalom has been a fine site for us, this is us trying to respond to a number of concerns that we had. So if we can find a win-win, great. It would be really helpful for us to do that. But I just want to let you know that we're still in the exploration phase, and this is just us trying to be as transparent as possible as we are in that phase. So
Just one last question for you, Tyler. Tyler, is there an opportunity to pilot a year to see how, or is it, once the decision has been made, that would be what this would look like moving forward?
Yeah, great question. We can always, if after a year it's determined it doesn't work out, we could always move it back, and it would just be another adoption of a resolution. Now, it's just the communication of switching it again, but we can definitely do it for a year and make a determination it's not working out.
Okay.
And keep in mind, elections in 2024 are presidential. That's going to be major. So that may not be the norm. So every 4 years when you have the presidential election, you typically have more people coming out. Just a thought.
Thank you.
I see we lost Dr. Beadle. Hopefully there he is.
There he is.
So next item real quick, spring community cleanup. About 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with 5 of the faith leaders, the pastors that are in the Brown Deer community, asking for ways to collaborate. They had an interest of putting together a spring and fall cleanup, community cleanup, where we would have a few dates in the spring and fall that people could sign up and participate. And the churches would have interest in having their congregations signing up to help and volunteer on certain dates. I just want to bring it to the school's attention because I would love to be able to sign up for a date jointly with the schools so we can have some of our officials and staff help together on a cleanup date. I think it would be a great opportunity for team building between our 2 leaderships and our staffs and officials. So I just wanted to put that out there. And if in case there's interest, I would be happy to send there's going to be like 3 dates between May and June. And so I would be happy to forward those dates to you all to, we could jointly pick one and volunteer together. So would there be interest in potentially doing that?
Sure.
It's a fun opportunity. The last time I did it, I found $170 something.
So you made some money while doing it?
We can win the lottery while we're picking up.
I kid you not. I kept finding 20s and 50s.
Where'd you go? So I know. Yeah. Let me go down that road one more time.
You know what? I was over on Titonian. I forget the name of the bar, but I said probably somebody came out and took their money out and it blew away. And it probably got buried in the snow because we were cleaning up in April. So it was the thaw. But yeah.
Got it.
So I'll be happy to send those dates and feel free to let me know if there's one that works better, and I'll be happy to save that date for us. And then last,
and I can talk on this, Tyler, because I asked for him to add this one too. I know, if I'm recalling correctly, before COVID, we used to have periodically students who would come to the village meeting and just sit in the audience to observe, and I think they were doing it for a class, maybe a civic class or government class. And I know my kids did it way back when, and I'm just wondering if that still happens. Maybe they come to the school board meetings. But just wanted to know if that is part of class assignment, and if so, we're certainly open to students coming and sitting in the audience at the village board meeting to observe and maybe even ask questions afterwards.
I was not aware of that, President Montgomery.
Okay.
It was filtered through a particular class. I would have to follow up on that and see exactly which classes that was applicable to. and then understand what was the, was the
Assignment.
service learning hours for students. I don't know. But I can follow up and see where that is and communicate that to students and families if that's an option to continue to be able to do that.
Yeah. I see Kevin wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say from my time on the school board, I do remember that. I knew when the assignment was due because that's when all the kids would show up for the school board meeting. I believe that was an assignment for a teacher who has since retired, so I don't know if it's part of the current curriculum. I'm guessing a government class, but
Yeah.
I do remember that specifically every year we would get the same, every semester, I think it was a semester class. And so I don't know, to your point, it hasn't been done in a while, so I don't know that that's part of the current curriculum of that class or other social studies classes, but it was a staple for many years where they'd be.
Yeah, and I think it would, and like I said, I don't know what class, but I think it gives students an opportunity to see their local government in action, and might even pique interest in somebody wanting to get involved as a career later on. And do it at a time when you're not in trouble. Don't come to civic court, municipal court to pay a ticket. And I think Cole and what was the other young man's Gum that were there at our last meeting that we recognized for the Eagle Scouts. And they stayed for most of the meeting too. So, just gives them exposure to what goes on beyond in their own community.
I'll look into it and see where we are with it and let you know.
Yeah. Okay. I think that concludes our agenda items.
All right,
So
I'm apologizing to everybody. I'm catching some technical difficulties and stuff with my internet while I'm in the vehicle and stuff. So I'm reason why you only see my picture piece is because that's the only way I can turn around and do it so you guys don't freeze.
Yeah.
Hello?
So
Oh,
our next
okay.
meeting, the village would be hosting, right? Yeah. And it would be in April?
Right. So the next meeting would be, at 5 p.m.
Is it April 19th? I think is it the 3rd?
That's what I have.
Third, yep.
All right.
It's the 19th, yeah, 19th.
All right. So then we would be hosting the next meeting on April 19th. And at which point the elections will be over. And we didn't indicate in ours, but it's not on the agenda. We just have 2 trustee seats that are up, and we only have 2 people running also.
On my screen, it looks like Dr. Beetle froze.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? I can assume the chair since he's muted. I don't think we have anything else on our agenda, so can we get a motion to adjourn?
I move we
Make the
adjourn.
motion.
I'll second it then.
It's been moved by Dr. Beetle and seconded by Trustee Owens. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 5:57 p.m. Have a wonderful snow day off.
Good to see everyone. Take care.
All right, good
All
night.
right. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.